Women's History Month is a time to celebrate the extraordinary women who changed our world through their leadership, innovation, and perseverance. It's also a time to recognize women, or in this case girls, who are breaking barriers today. I met with athletes from 3 North Country high schools who are making a mark on one of the fastest growing sports in New York State, girls wrestling. For decades, the sport belonged to the boys, but as I learned, girls are signing up to wrestle in record numbers and collecting a list of achievements along the way. After school, Fulton senior Rebecca May refines her technique. She's a high school wrestler now, a sport she once considered out of reach.
I grew up almost brainwashed into thinking wrestling will always belong to the guys because, again, my brother wrestled and I would go to all these, big tournaments, and I don't think I had ever seen a girl in all the years that I grew up inside the wrestling family. I don't think I ever saw a girl at any of those tournaments.
Times have changed. At the Haynes Memorial Tournament on the Oswego State campus, Rebecca and her teammates from Fulton competed against high school girls wrestling teams from across the state.
It's one of the fastest growing sports in the country right now, and we're trying to get out of that mindset that wrestling is for the boys, because it's really for everybody. Yes, perfect.
Jeff Waldron coaches girls wrestling at Fulton. The team has 37 young women on its roster, one of the largest girls teams in the state. The popularity of girls wrestling isn't unique to Fulton. The sport's been recognized by the New York Public High School Athletic Association for 2 seasons. In Section 3, which includes schools in Jefferson, Lewis, and Oswego counties, 4 teams competed the first season. The second season, that number grew to 9.
So it's more than doubled in 1 year. I predict it's going to continue to grow, and within a couple of years, the number of girls participating is going to be rivaling what the boys have.
So many girls were interested in wrestling at General Brown High School, the wrestling program hired an additional assistant coach.
These girls are the first ever team in General Brown history, so when their picture goes in the yearbook, they need to realize that they started something that has never been done before. And same thing with girls across New York State. It's a great opportunity.
I like seeing it grow. I like seeing the girls' sports grow.
What's drawing girls to wrestling?
Getting beat up by my bigger sister.
The reasons vary, but for General Brown freshman Fern Jewett, it was love at first pin at the age of
around 4.
As for her sister Zoe Jewett, it was about tradition.
My dad wrestled, my grandpa wrestled, so it's just always been in the family.
Get your knee under me, bottom knee under.
There is another motivator driving participation in Governor.
Our youth wrestling program, we have approximately 25 girls signed up and going to our youth wrestling. And that's mainly because, Zoe Griffith is like an idol to them.
Zoe Griffith, she's a junior at Governor High School. As for Zoe's idol status, she holds the national title in women's freestyle wrestling in her weight and age division.
I've had a lot of girls come up to me and be like, I love watching you wrestle. You're a big role model, and it makes me feel great to hear that.
His hips are clear now. I'm a pre-K through 4th grade phys ed teacher, and when Zoe does something, like last year, a couple nights, she'd go to youth and instruct the girls, and they come to school the next day, and they can't wait to tell me, Zoe did this, Zoe showed us this, Zoe said this, and so it's pretty cool.
Zoe doesn't mind the attention. She knows it's good for the sport.
It's really nice to watch them grow up, because I know that was once me, and everything that I have accomplished, I can't wait to see them accomplish, and if not more.
If you feel that, that's when you're going to knee slide.
And when it comes to accomplishments, Zoe has plans for more of her own.
A long-term goal for me is to wrestle at a Division I school for women's wrestling, and then eventually maybe make it on an Olympic team.
Hard work? Sure. But when Zoe explains what keeps her wrestling, it's easy to understand why it doesn't feel like work at all.
I like wrestling because it gives me a sense of freedom. When I'm on the mat, it's like all my problems go away.
Back in Fulton, Rebecca May describes wrestling as a habit she doesn't want to break.
Once you start, you just don't want to stop, because the connections you make in wrestling, you don't really get with any other team. And I say that confidently because I tried every sport under the sun growing up.
Rebecca's mother, Amy May, can back that up. She's Rebecca's most energetic cheerleader.
I really am.
On
I will actually register a workout on my Apple Watch.
and off the mat.
Wrestling is a metaphor for life. And all you hear, if you listen in the matches, all you hear is get off your back, get up. Life knocks you down 100 times, but you have to get up 101 times. And that's what wrestling is just a metaphor for life.
Coaches emphasize the lessons learned from wrestling too.
It teaches confidence, it teaches teamwork.
Lessons wrestling taught boys for generations.
We have to teach them about grit and perseverance and learning to try to succeed in very tough environments.
Lessons that will help young women break new barriers.
It took a while for us to get there, but I'm so glad that we're here now because I want the future of wrestling to be changed for good, and I never want another girl to ever think that wrestling is a male sport, because it's not.
Rebecca May will take that charge with her when she arrives on Utica University's campus next fall. You'll find her name on the wrestling team's roster.
Let's go, Becca, go!
Inspired by the pioneering spirit of a group of girls, teammates, who made wrestling their own, and history in the process.
I will graduate from Utica and I will get married and have children, and I will probably still talk about the 2 years I spent on the Fulton girls team just because of the impact that it has made on me and the impact that all of the girls have made on me.
You're gonna catch, boom, you sprawl away.
None of us really knew what we were doing, but because the connections were so strong, we didn't even really care because we just felt like home. Every time we stepped on that mat, we just felt like we were at home.